In the 5th grade, I entered a talent show, and Stevie, well, he didn't go by that then. It was Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie, I guess, but it was, we just called him Steve. But it was really cool because he was smiling real big, and he came up afterwards, and he said, man, I play guitar too. And he said, here's my card.
It's the Blues Rock Show with Pete Francis.
Welcome to the Blues Rock Show. I'm Pete Francis. Today we've got a special guest coming to us from Texas, blues rock guitarist Rocky Athas. How are you, Rocky?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So speaking of fantastic, here in 2024 you released a new album.
Yes.
Living My Best Life. Tell me about that title and how that came together for you.
Well, I felt like I was feeling super positive when we went in the studio and started doing the CD, and I wanted to set out, people, that might have had something mess up in the past, do whatever, just keep moving forward. That's what this whole album's about, is moving forward. And don't look behind you. It's time to make it anew, So it kind of had that theme, and I went with that. And I also did a couple of tributes to some friends of mine, like the Freddie King. Well, actually, they're not friends of mine, but I did a Freddie King song and a Jeff Beck version of Black Cat Moan, just to pay dedication to the greats that we lost. And also, interestingly enough, I was John Mayall's guitar player for quite a while. And he did a song with me on my new CD. And it's a song called Gray Mare. And I mean, he plays harmonica on it so nice. It's the best, I think it's the best harmonica solo I've heard in a long time. And it was really wild because we released the CD, and then right after that, he died. So it's very special to me, very special to me. So a lot of being close with people and doing new things, it's kind of what the album is about.
Yeah, you mentioned the passing of John Mayall. What are your favorite memories of working with John Mayall?
I think my favorite memories was doing the studio stuff was awesome. But being out on the road with John is when it was really fun. And he made me feel right at home the very first week I was with John, because he honestly just said, I was a little insecure at first, like, well, do you want me to sound like, the other guitar player on this one, or try to, copy those? He goes, oh, no. He said, I want you to be you. That's the reason why I hired you. And I thought, oh, great. Okay, so I'll just be me.
Yeah, I imagine you probably at first, did you feel some pressure? I mean, kind of big shoes to fill.
There was Eric, Mick Taylor, Peter Green, and then Buddy Whittington played before I did. So, there's all these different versions that the other guitar players did on the songs he wanted to choose. But he said, I want everything to be new. That was kind of inspiring. So he said, I want it to be a fresh new sound. And I hired you because of the way you sound. So he said, just be you.
How did you end up working with John Mayall?
Man, it was the weirdest thing. I got a phone call driving down I-30 in Dallas, and it said an unavailable call. And this is out of the blue. Well, usually I don't answer those because, they're trying to sell you something or whatever. And, hello, Rocky. I picked it up. And he said, this is John Mayall. And I went, yeah, right. Who is this? He said, it's John. And I was like, oh, man, I think you are John. And he said, no, I got your number from your webmaster. And
so he emailed your website?
Yeah, to get a way of contacting me. the guy who's doing my website then said, well, here's this number. Anyway, he called and he said, I think you would be a perfect fit. It kind of made me feel good. He said he bought all my CDs and said he played them. And he just said, I think you'll be a perfect fit. You'll fit like a glove to what I want the band to be sounding, like. And it's really weird. He said, next week, I will tell the rest of the other band. But he also said, just lay low for about 2 months. And as soon as we went out there and met, it was really cool because he flew us out to L.A. We rehearsed for, I think it was 5 days. It might have been 3. And we went right in the studio and cut the Tough album. Because he didn't really like a lot of rehearsal. He liked it to be fresh for everybody. So it made it really pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Speaking of pretty awesome, Rocky, I heard when you were in 5th grade, you went to a talent show, and you met a kid there named Stevie Ray Vaughan. Can you tell us about that?
Well, in the 5th grade, I entered a talent show, and Stevie, well, he didn't go by that then. It was Steve Ray Vaughan. Stevie, I guess, but it was, we just called him Steve. And so Steve, I knew from being at school with him, but we didn't know each other play guitar. And so he was sitting right in the front row, and I started doing my little thing, whatever it was. I think I played Secret Agent Man or something like that, and House of the Rising Sun. It was, it was in a talent show. So. But it was really cool because he was smiling real big, and he came up afterwards, and he said, man, I play guitar too. And he said, here's my card. And he had a professional card made up in the 5th grade.
In 5th grade.
Yes. And he handed it to me, and he goes, I got these. My mom did it for me. And they were little professional cards that said, call Steve Ray Vaughan. It's for guitar. And it was, he was already thinking business even back then. His mom helped him go with that direction. And it's kind of a fun story. From that point on, we were very good friends. Grade school, junior high, and high school. Till he left.
So you guys were kind of then on guitar pushing each other to get better.
Yes, and we used to go to little jam sessions together in the Oak Cliff area. And usually my brother would loan me his car, and I'd come by and get him where he lived. And it was just fun. And of course, we would go to anywhere people were jamming. It's a blues rock jam at Sunset High School today, and so we'd drive there. We didn't go to Sunset, but we just walked in, and they said, you know how to play guitar? Yes.
What's your favorite memory of Stevie?
Oh, well, my favorite memory, obviously, of being with Stevie as friends. I came by and picked him up, and he wasn't ready. Because I was doing the, it's time to go, man. We got to go jam. Anyway, so I took the car, honked, and he goes, come in, because he wasn't ready. He's still barefooted and all that. And he wanted to show me this guitar. It was on his bed. And he had Rubber Soul, the Beatles album on, and he was playing it, and it was his brother's Les Paul. And it was really weird because he goes, man, I learned this song, and he started playing it, and I said, but man, we better get moving. He goes, okay, and he took the guitar and he threw it up on the bed, and the headstock goes bump, and the body hit the edge of the bedboard, like boom, boom. And in the other room, Steve! It was Jimmy. Anyway, that was a good story. That was a fun memory because he goes, we better get the heck out of here, man. Yeah, that did happen. That was pretty fun to remember.
Earlier, you had mentioned Freddie King. You met Freddie King.
I did.
Tell me how you two originally met.
Well, he used to come to this bar we used to play in Dallas. It was called Mother Blues. And he would be out there just hanging out. And one time after that, I'll never forget, we were waiting in line to go see Jeff Beck. And I think at this time we were only 18 years old. And this long line at the Majestic Theater. And we're all standing in line waiting to see Jeff Beck. And of course, we're just standing there. We were moderately up close. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder, because he's tall. He was very tall. He says, "Is this the line to see Jeff Beck?" And we went, "Yes." He goes, "Do you mind if I stand in?" Not at all. And he had his guitar with him.
Cool.
So I'm standing there like that, and he went to jam with Jeff Beck to do Going Down. So the story goes, he got in there, and Jeff was doing Going Down, Jeff Beck, and they didn't have a second guitar amp. And Jeff didn't want to not, it's his shows.
Right.
But, yeah, so he just ended up hanging out all night. But brought his guitar with him, So,
all right.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. That actually was my first meeting, and I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I bet.
Seeing him up close like that, and he was my favorite I guess you'd say just my favorite blues player, because he played with fire, and I loved that.
Yeah. Rocky, you've been at this for a long time. I imagine you have some pretty interesting road stories.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any road stories that really stick out to you?
Well, there's a couple, but I guess the strangest one I had is we were playing a gig, and this is with my band Lightning, being out on the road. And the stage was pretty tall. I believe it was Mother Earth in Austin, Texas. And we just started playing, and we were feeling it. Just really a good night. And this guy's going, yeah, and he's just really getting excited, and he just buckles, falls on the floor, and he died.
Whoa.
And so then, we're up there playing in the hole. Everybody's looking down, and should we stop? This is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He died.
When did they find out that he died?
Right then. And
Wow.
they go, you got to stop. That was the weirdest story that ever happened to me out on the road.
Wow.
But it was too real,
Wow, that's unbelievable.
And but to top it off, now it doesn't even sound like a real story, but it is. The ambulance came. We had to take a quick break, And whenever the whole thing was kind of over, and of course we found out he died. He had some kind of heart attack or something. I don't know what it might have been too many drugs or something. So then the promoter said, can you guys go ahead and start in about 15 minutes? Well, sure. It seems a little weird, but we'll do it. It kind of put a weird aura.
Yeah.
And so we started playing, and his brother comes up. And his brother's holding up a beer, and he goes, "This one goes out to my brother who died right here." And so he said, "I'm buying drinks for the band." And we went, "Oh, God, this is just weird." So I thought that was very strange.
Yeah, you can't
You're
make
talking
that
about
up.
a weird story on the road. Yeah, that was one.
Yeah, that is something else, Rocky. Who are some guitarists that inspire you?
Well, Eric Clapton always did. Of course, Hendrix, but who can copy that? I just think anybody that writes a good song, and because of that great song, he's got melody in his playing. So I'm liable to like many different players. I love Gary Moore even on that Still Got the Blues.
Yep.
Because it's so melodic. That catches my attention. And so I have to say, anybody that plays with melody, they can burn the notes and play them fast, but somewhere in there you got to have some melody to catch. So anybody that does that. But it started with really, really loving what Eric Clapton was doing. And that started with the Bluesbreakers.
Yeah.
Having that album. And then, of course, being called by John Mayall later was kind of full circle for me. It's like, wow, John, So it's pretty cool.
For sure. In your opinion, now you talked about melodic guitar players, but in your opinion, what makes a great guitar player?
Well, there's so many people. I mean, all you got to do is watch Instagram or YouTube, and there's so many great players. Even bedroom players, that you go, man, that's great stuff. But the thing that I think makes a great guitar player is to know, while you're learning guitar, is to learn how to write a song. And there's kind of a formula to writing a song that's a good song, that has hook, it has a good melody. And so, I mean, that's what I look for, is just good songs, and think about the music for a while. I know all the licks we all do it, and learn them, but stop for a minute and bother with learning songs, or how to write a song, and take a couple steps back, and see why all the great songs are that way.
Totally.
They're much simpler than people think they are.
Totally.
And then you add the color on it.
Looking at blues rock today, are there any up-and-coming artists that are really kind of grabbing your attention where you're like, man, they can play?
Well, I saw Alistair tonight. He's great.
Yeah, Alistair Green. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, man, you're like really good. I better go do some push-ups, And but I think I'm pretty impressed with Joe Bonamassa.
He's kind of good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got what it takes. So I guess I'll go with, I'm really digging him now. I like what he's doing.
Yeah, I heard that you opened up for him with Black Country Communion.
Yeah, I did in Italy.
Yeah.
Sure did. And
you had also worked with Glenn Hughes.
Yes. So it was really kind of like a family reunion, because I was there with Glenn, and Glenn didn't know I was coming. And I was standing in front of his dressing room when he pulled up, and he goes, "Rocky, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm playing right before you." And of course, we went and ate and all that and hung out the rest of the day. So he stayed at the venue, and it was really good, because I did a couple tours with Glenn, and also did the album, the Bolin Tribute, in 1999. And that was really a lot of fun. So, Glenn's very, very good friend.
How is it working with a voice like Glenn's?
Man, it's a trip. There's a couple of times that I actually stopped playing to hear him. Think, oh yeah, it's my turn now to do whatever, because he's that good. He'll do things that you go, oh man, that was really good, and I appreciated it like a fan, which meant I respected him on stage, even when I was up there with him, So yeah, it was quite a trip.
Yeah, they call him the voice for a reason.
Voice of rock and roll, man.
Yep, that's right. Well, Rocky, this has been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed it. Any final thoughts or anything else you want to get out there? What's next for you?
Well, I'd just like everybody to check out the new CD, Living My Best Life. And we have a video, Living My Best Life, that you can You can see it on YouTube or my Facebook or any of those things. And we also have John Mayall playing on the CD. I'm real proud of that. So check it out.
And having John Mayall on the album just a few months before his passing, I mean, how special is that to you to have that?
Well, it's real special. But when I was playing with John, we cut 3 songs together. He said, I want to play on your CD, your next CD. And after COVID happened, and then I left the band, well, it kind of stayed in the vault, and I put it out. But, we only released it 2 months before he died. So it makes it really special that some people will get to hear something they've never heard him play. And to me, it's the best harp I've heard him do, and it's my favorite. It really gets me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Rocky, thanks for your time.
Well, thank you.
All right, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Blues Rock Show. For Rocky Athas, I'm Pete Francis. We'll see you on the next one.